Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Please let me know in the comment section whether my audio and video is clear so that we can have the class in a smooth manner. Good morning, Dhinisha, Karan, Sovik, Kevlin. Good morning to all of you. I welcome you all to the live mint analysis that we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. We bring in the important news articles, we try to link it with the static portion, and then do a few MCQs also, right? Okay, Kevlin, Rachna, very good morning to you. Okay, chaliye. Now, before I begin, if you want to download this YouTube class PDF, you can do it from the Oliveboard app. Just go to the courses section. There's going to be a separate YouTube class PDFs folder. You can download the PDF from here. I'm also sharing my Telegram handle for all those who are new. You can connect with me on Telegram. Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. Okay, so you can connect with me over here as well. I give you the updates related to all my classes and all, right? So first of all, what are we going to cover today? We'll talk about the Sanchar Sathi app. We're going to talk about the Sanchar Sathi portal, which is in news. You might have, read about it. I've also shared, a write-up on Telegram related to the Sanchar Sathi app. है So we're going to discuss about this, that what it is, what was the issue. Then we're going to talk about services PMI purchasing managers index. So in my previous one or two classes I've explained what is the meaning of purchasing managers index and why is it calculated. How do we see the services sector and the manufacturing sector expansion based on this PMI. We have discussed this, so we're going to discuss about this again. We saw manufacturing PMI 2-3 days back. We're going to see services PMI today. Then Indonesia assigns $1 billion to NDB. So we're going to understand what NDB is. We're going to understand what BRICS is. We're going to understand when did Indonesia join. Can anyone tell me in the comment section that when did Indonesia as a member join BRICS? And how many total members are there in BRICS? How many total members? Anybody? Can anybody tell me in the comment section? Then we're going to talk about state-owned banks which flag deposit rate who's on policy eve. That we're going to discuss. Then targeting public debt is appropriate during uncertainty. अब क्या है? पहले we used to target fiscal deficit. And you might have read about the FRBM Act. You might have read about the FRBM Act, fiscal consolidation, wherein we want to limit our fiscal deficit below 3% or up to 3%. Then over a period of time, what did we see? That we should target public debt है ना more than this fiscal deficit. Deficit को भी we should target, but we should not decide on a single target. है ना सिक्की directly 3% target पे we do not have to specifically target this 3%. Yes, we have to reduce it, but that should be a genuine reduction. ठीक है, so don't worry, let's discuss about this also in detail, this article. Then we're going to do some fact based news, at last MCQ practice. ठीक है, हाँ okay. Kevlin is saying 10th member. Yes, very good. So BRICS के there are 10 members. There are 10 members in BRICS. 10th member कौन सा है? 10th member is Indonesia. ठीक है? And now Indonesia after joining has assigned $1 billion to New Development Bank, which is a very important thing, and we are going to discuss about this. ठीक है? Fine. चलिए. Let's start with our discussion. Now, first news is related to your Sanchar Sathi app. This Sanchar Sathi app was launched this year only, earlier in 2025. इसका एक मेजरली एक पोर्टल था जो बनाया गया था, संचार साथी पोर्टल, इन 2023. ठीक है, 2023 में ये पोर्टल बनाया गया. एंड दिस ईयर संचार साथी ऐप. लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट द न्यूज़ इज अबाउट. तो गवर्नमेंट ने 28 नवंबर को एक डायरेक्शन दी टू द स्मार्टफोन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स दैट whatever new phones that you're manufacturing, you have to pre-install this Sanchar Sathi app. कि पहले से जैसे इनबिल्ट एप्स होती है ना इन द मोबाइल फोन्स, वैसे ही संचार साथी ऐप शुड बी एन इनबिल्ट ऐप इन द मोबाइल फोन्स. ये कहा गवर्नमेंट ने. ठीक है। तो जितने भी वी हैव न्यू डिवाइसेस है ना, इन ऑल द न्यू डिवाइसेस एंड अपडेशंस इन दी ओल्डर फोन्स, जैसे अपडेट्स आती है फोन में उससे, एंड न्यू डिवाइसेस में हम क्या करेंगे, जो संचार साथी ऐप है वी गोइंग टू प्री इंस्टॉल इट, ठीक है। अच्छा, अब ये संचार साथी ऐप है क्या, व्हाट इज दिस ऐप? नाउ दिस इज अ साइबर सिक्योरिटी एंड फोन ट्रैकिंग एप्लीकेशन। तो ये गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से ये एक साइबर सिक्योरिटी एंड फोन ट्रैकिंग एप्लीकेशन है, वेयर इन योर मोबाइल फोन्स कैन बी ट्रैक्ड एंड दिस इज मैनेज्ड बाय द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस। यानी कि इसमें क्या है, आप जहाँ पे अपना फोन यूज कर रहे हैं, जिससे आप बात कर रहे हैं, है ना, किसी को आप मैसेज सेंड कर रहे हैं, कहीं पे आप जा रहे हैं, तो योर फोन इज बीइंग ट्रैक्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट। ठीक है। अब ओरिजिनली जो ये पोर्टल था, दिस वाज लॉन्च्ड इन 2023। एक पोर्टल लॉन्च किया था, ऐप तो इनबिल्ट, ये पोर्टल तो हमारे पास है, एक पोर्टल वाज लॉन्च्ड इन 2023, ऐप आई बाद में दिस ईयर, ठीक है। मेजरली व्हाट वाज द रीजन व्हाई डिड वी ब्रिंग दिस पोर्टल, ताकि जो भी स्टोलन मोबाइल फोन्स हैं या फिर कोई भी लॉस्ट हो गया है फोन, सो दैट वी कैन ट्रैक दोज मोबाइल फोन्स। तो अच्छी चीज के बारे में सोचा गवर्नमेंट ने, है ना। कोई सिम डुप्लीकेशन वाली चीज तो नहीं हो रही है, तो उसके बारे में सोचा। अच्छा, IMEI ऑथेंटिसिटी की बात की, इसको चेक करने के लिए कि कहीं जो भी वो मोबाइल नंबर है क्या वो प्रॉपरली रजिस्टर्ड है। अब क्या होता है IMEI ऑथेंटिसिटी, व्हाट इज इट? इट रेफर्स टू वेरीफाइंग मोबाइल डिवाइस यूनिक इंटरनेशनल मोबाइल इक्विपमेंट आइडेंटिटी, कि क्या इसकी कोई यूनिक इंटरनेशनल मोबाइल इक्विपमेंट आइडेंटिटी नंबर वैलिड है या नहीं है, कोई स्टोलन, ब्लैकलिस्टेड या फिर काउंटरफीट डिवाइस तो नहीं है। सो इट यूजेस अ 15 डिजिट कोड, इससे हमें पता चल जाता है कि ये स्टोलन डिवाइस नहीं है, दिस इज अ लेजिटिमेट फोन नंबर। तो ये ऑथेंटिसिटी चेक करने के लिए वी हैव दिस पोर्टल। फिर हमने एक चक्षु प्लेटफॉर्म भी बनाया कि इसी में हम इंटीग्रेट करेंगे चक्षु प्लेटफॉर्म, कि कोई भी अगर फ्रॉड है तो आप इस प्लेटफॉर्म के थ्रू रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं। तो अगर आप इंटेंशन देखें तो है अच्छा इंटेंशन, है ना, कि हमें IMEI आकांक्षा, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, IMEI एक ऑथेंटिसिटी, मतलब ऑथेंटिसिटी चेक करने के लिए रहता है, एक 15 डिजिट कोड है ये, जिससे हम आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं कि जो ये फोन नंबर है वो सही है या नहीं है। ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये फोन नंबर किसी के चुराया हुआ फोन नंबर है, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये कोई काउंटरफीट डिवाइस है, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये जो नंबर है ये किसी ने ब्लैकलिस्ट किया है। तो वो ऑथेंटिसिटी की, ये लेजिटिमेट मोबाइल फोन नंबर है या नहीं है, वो लेजिटिमेसी चेक करने के लिए वी हैव दिस IMEI ऑथेंटिसिटी। तो अगर आप इंटेंशन देखें गवर्नमेंट का, इट इज अ गुड इंटेंशन ओनली, है ना। तो अब गवर्नमेंट ने क्या डायरेक्शन दी कि भाई संचार साथी ऐप को, ये जो ऐप है ये प्री इंस्टॉल होनी चाहिए, दैट मीन्स पहले से ही गवर्नमेंट विल हैव द परमिशन टू ट्रैक दीज मोबाइल फोन्स एंड ऑल। लेकिन अब लोग बैकलैश क्यों कह रहे हैं, अब कितना ज्यादा इसमें बैकलैश आया था, क्योंकि इसमें लोग कह रहे थे ये एक पोटेंशियल स्नूपिंग टूल बन सकता है। स्नूपिंग टूल मतलब जिसमें हम नजर रख रहे हैं, एक स्पाइंग टूल बन सकता है, वेयर एवरी मूव ऑफ द सिटीजन ऑफ द कंट्री, एवरी मूव ऑफ आवर पीपल इज गोइंग टू बी टेकन केयर ऑफ, एवरी मूव इज गोइंग टू बी चेक्ड, और हम क्या कर रहे हैं, किससे बात कर रहे हैं, मैसेजेस, कॉल्स, है ना, इन सब चीजों में जो गवर्नमेंट है वो ये सब चीजें देख पाएंगी। दैट मीन्स प्रिवेसी कहाँ गई हमारी, वेयर इज आवर प्रिवेसी, दिस गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट आवर प्रिवेसी। एप्पल ने भी ये कहा कि भाई ये जो मैंडेटरी इंस्टॉलेशन वाला कॉन्सेप्ट है, मैंडेटरी नहीं होना चाहिए है, आप इसे वॉलंटरी बनाएं, नॉट मैंडेटरी, ठीक है। प्लस एप्पल के जो फोन्स होते हैं उनका जो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम ही ऐसा है कि पहले से ऐसी जो एप्स होती हैं वो प्रीलोड होके नहीं आ सकती है परमिशन के बिना, ठीक है। तो हमें एक मिडिल पाथ, गवर्नमेंट शुड एक्सप्लोर अ मिडिल पाथ, कि ठीक है संचार साथी ऐप होनी चाहिए बट इट शुड बी वॉलंटरी, ठीक है। तो अब यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट ने क्लैरिफाई किया, पब्लिकली कितना ज्यादा क्रिटिसिज्म हुई, ठीक है। तो अब वहां पे उन्होंने क्लैरिफिकेशन दी गवर्नमेंट ने, दैट यूजर्स आर फ्री टू डिलीट द ऐप अगर वो चाहते हैं। एक्टिव इनएक्टिव रहेगी ऐप अंटिल अ यूजर वॉलंटरली रजिस्टर्स इट, यानी कि अब गवर्नमेंट ने कह दिया, वापस उन्होंने अपना डिसीजन ले लिया कि ठीक है वॉलंटरी बेसिस पे कर लेते हैं, ये एक्टिवेट तभी होगी अगर वॉलंटरली हमने रजिस्टर किया, ठीक है। और गवर्नमेंट ने डिनाई की सारी एलिगेशंस कि भाई हम स्नूपिंग वूपिंग के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, वी आर तो प्रोटेक्टिंग आवर सिटीजंस, ठीक है। ठीक है, तो अब इसमें क्या है कि जो ऐप है इसके अंदर IMEI, ये जो IMEI ऑथेंटिसिटी है वो चेक हो जाती है, विच इज अ 15 डिजिट नंबर जो आइडेंटिफाई करता है मोबाइल फोन को। फ्रॉड कॉल्स अगर है, ये जो संचार साथी ऐप है, इट हेल्प्स मॉनिटर फ्रॉड कॉल्स, फेक सिम्स, क्लोन डिवाइसेस, साइबर फ्रॉड। ठीक है, लेकिन क्रिटिक्स ने क्या बोला कि प्रिवेसी नॉर्म्स के खिलाफ है ये, प्लस इसमें कोई पब्लिक कंसल्टेशन भी नहीं ली गई है ना, और इट लैक्स द प्रॉपर सेफगार्ड्स एज वेल। ठीक है, तो अब ये जो मैंडेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट है इसको रोल बैक कर लिया है। ठीक है, एंड गवर्नमेंट ने क्लैरिफाई किया है कि भाई दिस वाज नॉट आवर मेजर मोटिव, हम ये नहीं करना चाहते थे कि स्नूपिंग नहीं करना चाहते थे, इट वाज जस्ट टू प्रोटेक्ट आवर कस्टमर्स। ठीक है, तो ये संचार साथी ऐप दिस वाज लॉन्च्ड इन जनवरी 2025, ये सिटीजन फोकस प्लेटफॉर्म है, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस ने बनाया है। ऐसी ऐसी डिटेल्स यू शुड बी रिमेम्बरिंग बिकॉज दिस कैन बी आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन। ठीक है, फाइन। तो दिस वाज टू एनहांस मोबाइल सिक्योरिटी, प्रोटेक्ट यूजर्स फ्रॉम थ्रेट ऑफ साइबर सिक्योरिटी। तो इस ऐप से क्या हो जाता है, दिस ऐप हेल्प्स यूजर्स ट्रैक, वो ब्लॉक कर सकते हैं, लोकेट कर सकते हैं, कोई भी लॉस्ट है, स्टोलन फोन है। ठीक है, इंडिविजुअल्स कैन चेक ऑल मोबाइल नंबर्स इशूड इन देयर नेम। तो आप इस ऐप के थ्रू अपना चेक कर सकते हो कि अच्छा आपके नाम पे किसी और ने तो नहीं इशू किया। ठीक है, फिर इसमें चक्षु प्लेटफॉर्म भी है, जिसमें कोई भी फ्रॉड वगैरह है तो आप उसे, फ्रॉड कॉल्स आ रही है, एसएमएस आ रहे हैं, उसे आप रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं। आप वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं, इसमें एक टूल भी है जिससे वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं वेदर मोबाइल हैंडसेट इज जेन्युइन, क्या ये मोबाइल जेन्युइन है या नहीं है, कोई काउंटरफीट डिवाइस तो नहीं है, वी गेट टू नो अबाउट दैट आल्सो। कोई इंटरनेशनल स्पूफ्ड कॉल्स आती हैं तो वो हमें पता चल जाती हैं, जैसे इंटरनेशनली हमें कभी कोई नाइजीरिया से, कभी कहीं से ना कॉल्स आ जाती हैं, या फिर मैसेजेस आ जाते हैं जिससे हैकिंग हो जाती है आपके अकाउंट एंड ऑल की। This happened with me. My account got hacked because of an international message, and that one message was from Nigeria, somewhere from Nigeria. They were attempting to be Instagram, and उन्होंने मतलब ऐसे हैक हो गया फिर, है ना। तो दैट हैपेंस, तो वो सब चीजें रिपोर्ट हो सकती है। ठीक है, एंड जब से ये लॉन्च हुआ है, प्लेटफॉर्म लॉन्च हुआ है, संचार साथी प्लेटफॉर्म एंड नाउ ऐप, इट हैज हेल्प्ड ब्लॉक ओवर 42 लाख लॉस्ट और स्टोलन डिवाइसेस। तो अगर हम इसका सक्सेस रेट देखें तो काफी अच्छा है। 42 लाख जो लॉस्ट और स्टोलन डिवाइसेस हैं उनको ब्लॉक करने में हेल्प किया, 26 लाख फोन्स को ट्रैक भी किया, एंड 7.23 लाख हैंडसेट्स अपने ओनर्स को भी पहुंचा दिया जिसका मोबाइल था। तो इट इज अ गुड ऐप, बस ये है कि गवर्नमेंट को थोड़ा सा इसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन टेक्स टाइम, ट्रस्ट गेन करना पड़ता है पहले, है ना, एंड इसे वॉलंटरी बेसिस पे होना चाहिए, नॉट मैंडेटरी। तो आई होप दिस संचार साथी वाला जो ये कॉन्सेप्ट है, इसमें हो क्या रहा था और ये ऐप है क्या, आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ। फिर हम बात करते हैं सर्विसेज परचेजिंग मैनेजर्स इंडेक्स की। अब मैंने आपको परचेजिंग मैनेजर्स इंडेक्स के बारे में क्या बताया था, व्हाट इज परचेजिंग मैनेजर्स इंडेक्स। अब यहाँ पे नाम ही देखिए, परचेजिंग मैनेजर्स यानी कि बिजनेसेस में जो परचेजिंग का काम करते हैं, जो मैनेजर्स परचेजिंग का काम करते हैं। तो हम क्या करते हैं, जो भी ये बिजनेसमैन है ना, ये जो इंडस्ट्रियल लीडर्स एंड ऑल है, हम इनका सर्वे करते हैं अंडर दिस पीएमआई। ठीक है, वी डू अ सर्वे and we ask them कि भाई what do you expect that what is going to happen in the services sector, do you think it is going to expand or do you think it is going to contract। तो इसमें वैल्यू रहती है आपकी 1 to 100 के बीच में। अगर आपकी वैल्यू ग्रेटर देन 50 आती है देन देयर इज एन एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ एक्सपेंशन। अगर इसमें वैल्यू लेस देन 50 आती है तो कॉन्ट्रैक्शन की बात होती है। अगर इसमें वैल्यू इक्वल टू 50 आता है दैट मीन्स नो एक्सपेंशन नो कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, न्यूट्रल रहेगा, जैसा है वैसा ही चलेगा। ये जो पीएमआई है ये कैलकुलेट होता है फॉर बोथ सर्विसेज सेक्टर एज वेल एज द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर। तो ये हमें जो बिजनेस कॉन्फिडेंस है उसको देखने में बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प आउट करता है। फाइन, तो देख लेते हैं कि सर्विसेज पीएमआई नवंबर का क्या कहता है। ठीक है, तो सर्विसेज सेक्टर रिबाउंड यानी कि पिछले मंथ में थोड़ा सा हमारा सर्विसेज सेक्टर में हमने कम एक्सपेंशन देखा। ठीक है, वैल्यू हमारी 50 से ऊपर ही थी लेकिन थोड़ा सा हमने कम एक्सपेंशन देखा। अब इसी की बात करें तो दिस इज गोइंग टू सी अ स्ट्रॉन्ग रिबाउंड इन नवंबर 25। हायर न्यू बिजनेस इनटेक्स बढ़ रहे हैं, प्राइस प्रेशर्स कम हो रहे हैं, डिमांड कंडीशंस अच्छी हैं, दीज आर द रीजंस फॉर दैट। ये पीएमआई है विच इज प्रिपेयर्ड बाय एसएनपी ग्लोबल, इट रोज टू 59.8 इन नवंबर। तो अक्टूबर में 58.9 था तो वो ग्रेटर देन 50 ही था, लेकिन अब हम इससे भी ज्यादा हमारा एक्सपेंशन हुआ है 59.8 इन नवंबर। ये इनफैक्ट 60.1 60.23 भी हुआ था इन सितंबर वाली टाइम पे। ठीक है, फाइन, ये फास्टर एक्सपेंशन है ठीक है, PMI हैज स्टेड अबव 50 व्हिच शोज एक्सपेंशन फॉर ओवर 4 इयर्स, तो हमारा वो काफी सही है। ठीक है, इनपुट कॉस्ट इन्फ्लेशन हमारी ईज आउट हुई है ना, प्राइस इन्फ्लेशन हमारी कंट्रोल रही है, डिमांड ट्रेंड्स हमारे अच्छे हैं, बिजनेस सेंटिमेंट इज ऑप्टिमिस्टिक, फेवरेबल डिमांड है, सोशल मीडिया विजिबिलिटी अच्छी है, मार्केटिंग इनिशिएटिव्स अच्छे हैं, है ना। कंपटीशन प्रेशर्स की वजह से थोड़ा सा हमने वीकेंड देखा है, क्योंकि 60 से थोड़ा कम है ना, तो थोड़ा सा वीक हुआ है बिकॉज ऑफ कंपटीशन, स्टेट इलेक्शन रिलेटेड जो डिसरप्शंस हैं उस वजह से। डोमेस्टिक ड्राइवर्स क्या हैं? कंज्यूमर सर्विसेज, ट्रांसपोर्ट, आईटी कम्युनिकेशन, फाइनेंस, इंश्योरेंस, रियल एस्टेट, बिजनेस सर्विसेज, इसमें हमने एक ग्रोथ देखी है, गुड अमाउंट ऑफ ग्रोथ देखी है, तो हमारा जो सर्विसेज पीएमआई है वो एक्सपेंशन की तरफ आया। कुछ एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स है, चैलेंजेस है, फॉर एग्जांपल जो H1B वीजा का से रिलेटेड जो इश्यूज है ना, हमने H1B वीजा के बारे में भी बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कशन की हुई है इन द अलाइनमेंट एनालिसिस। आई एम गिविंग यू अ होमवर्क, ऑल दोस हु डोंट नो अबाउट दिस H1B वीजा इशू, प्लीज गो रीड अबाउट दिस H1B इशू। ठीक है, वीजा एप्लीकेशन फीस भी यूएस ने बढ़ा दी थी, इफ यू वर फॉलोइंग द न्यूज़, है ना। टैरिफ डिस्कशन, सब चीज़ों की वजह से थोड़ी सी अनसर्टेनिटी है, बट ओवरऑल इट इज़ गुड। ठीक है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट ट्रेंड्स भी ठीक ठाक है। मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्लो टू अ 5 मंथ लो इन नवंबर, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में थोड़ा सा हमने स्लो देखा है, बट अदरवाइज सर्विसेज सेक्टर में हमने एक्सपेंशन देखा है। ओवरऑल एक्सपेंशन अगर हम सर्विसेज और पीएमआई की सर्विसेज और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की देखें तो इट इज मॉडरेट। ठीक है, देन वी हैव अ न्यूज, तो इसमें मेजरली आई वांटेड टू डिस्कस विद यू कि सर्विसेज पीएमआई का मतलब क्या है, परचेजिंग मैनेजर्स इंडेक्स का क्या मतलब है, राइट। देन वी हैव ब्रिक्स ग्रुपिंग। ठीक है, अब ब्रिक्स एज अ रीजनल ग्रुपिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। ठीक है, काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट। यू हैव टू डू द डिटेल्स ऑफ ब्रिक्स। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ब्रिक्स कब फॉर्म हुआ, व्हेन वाज इट फॉर्म, कैन एनीवन टेल मी व्हेन वाज ब्रिक्स फॉर्म्ड? सबसे पहले तो ब्रिक ही बना था 2009 में, ब्रिक था ब्राजील, रशिया, इंडिया एंड चाइना। 2010 में साउथ अफ्रीका ने ज्वाइन कर लिया एंड देन इट बिकेम ब्रिक्स। अब पिछले से पिछले साल, यू नो, इन द प्रीवियस ईयर वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट एक्सपेंशन ऑफ ब्रिक्स। तो यूएई, इथियोपिया, इजिप्ट और ईरान, इन लोगों ने ज्वाइन किया लास्ट ईयर, इन कंट्रीज ने ज्वाइन किया लास्ट ईयर। इस ईयर इंडोनेशिया ने ज्वाइन कर लिया एज द 10th मेंबर। सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर ऑल दीज 10 मेंबर्स। हमने सऊदी अरेबिया को भी इनविटेशन भेजा है, बट राइट नाउ दे हैवंट येट एक्सेप्टेड इट कंप्लीटली। तो अभी हम सऊदी अरेबिया को, यू नो, दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन दैट मेनी ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट्स आस्क मी कि मैम कहीं कहीं पे 11 मेंबर्स लिखा है, वेयर इन सऊदी अरेबिया इज आल्सो एडेड, है ना, कहीं कहीं पे 10 मेंबर्स लिखा है। तो बेसिकली देयर आर 10 मेंबर्स। सऊदी अरेबिया को हमने इनविटेशन भेजा है, बट सऊदी अरेबिया हैज नॉट येट एक्सेप्टेड इट, तो वो परमानेंटली अभी मेंबर नहीं है ब्रिक्स का। ठीक है, फाइन। तो ये आपको ब्रिक्स का पता होना चाहिए है, ठीक है, कि क्या है ये। तो इंडोनेशिया हैज जॉइंड एज अ न्यू मेंबर। तो उन्होंने इंडोनेशिया हैज कंट्रीब्यूटेड कितना, $1 बिलियन टू ब्रिक्स लेड न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक। अब जैसे वर्ल्ड बैंक है ना इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे, इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे वी हैव द ब्रेटन वुड्स ट्विंस, है ना, ब्रेटन वुड्स ट्विंस है हमारे पास। कौन है ये ब्रेटन वुड ट्विंस? वी हैव वर्ल्ड बैंक ऑन वन साइड एंड वी हैव आईएमएफ ऑन वन साइड। अगर मैं वर्ल्ड बैंक की बात करूं, ठीक है, तो वर्ल्ड बैंक क्या है? इट इज अ बैंक विच प्रोवाइड्स लोन्स फॉर डेवलपमेंटल पर्पसेस। अगर मैं आईएमएफ की बात करूं तो इट प्रोवाइड्स लोन्स फॉर फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस। अगर कोई कंट्री फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस फेस कर रही है, बीओपी क्राइसिस फेस कर रही है, तो उसमें प्रोवाइड करते हैं लोन्स आईएमएफ, है ना। अब क्या है कि यहाँ पे ना वर्ल्ड बैंक और आईएमएफ में वेस्टर्न डोमिनेंस बहुत ज्यादा है, यूरोपियन डोमिनेंस बहुत, इनके लीडर्स यूजुअली वेस्टर्न या यूरोपियन ही रहते हैं। और जो इनकी मेंबरशिप है, जैसे जो वोटिंग राइट्स हैं या फिर जो कोटाज हैं, वो बहुत ज़्यादा वेस्टर्न लोगों के, वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज के पास हैं। और जो इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमीज है जैसे इंडिया, ब्राज़ील और चाइना एंड ऑल, है ना, इनकी जो होल्डिंग है वो काफ़ी कम है। तो ये कंट्रीज क्या कहते हैं वर्ल्ड बैंक और आईएमएफ को कि भाई हमारी होल्डिंग को चेंज करो, जो क्राइटेरिया है, कोटा क्राइटेरिया है, जो आपका वेल्थ होल्डिंग क्राइटेरिया है, जो आपका कोटा क्राइटेरिया है, इट शुड बी चेंज एंड इट शुड बी अपडेटेड। लेकिन ये वर्ल्ड बैंक IMF कभी सुनते ही नहीं है, वो रिफॉर्म्स ही कभी नहीं आते हैं इन फेवर ऑफ दीज कंट्रीज. ठीक है. ओके दिनेश, है ना, that whatever these reforms are, है ना, these IMF and World Bank, they do not continue with any kind of reforms. They don't bring in any reforms. That is a major problem. ठीक है. So what did BRICS do? BRICS said that we are going to bring an alternative to World Bank and IMF. So BRICS made its own bank, which is the New Development Bank. ठीक है. BRICS made a new bank, which is the New Development Bank, which is an alternative to World Bank. And IMF का alternative Contingent Reserve Arrangement, CRA. ठीक है. So New Development Bank works on the ages of World Bank. It's like a World Bank only. For developmental purposes it provides loan, but it is specific to BRICS. It is BRICS led. ठीक है. And IMF, or an alternative to IMF, is Contingent Reserve Arrangement, which provides loans and all during financial crisis. So that is why I just wanted to explain you what this New Development Bank is. So now Indonesia has contributed $1 billion to this New Development Bank, and the aim is basically to strengthen ties with BRICS group of developing nations. है ना? This is going to support the sustainable development projects. ठीक है. Indonesia is Southeast Asia's largest economy. It joined BRICS this year. And the country is seeking alternative markets to the US markets, है ना? Because US President Donald Trump ने tariffs and all लगाए, so Indonesia is also looking for alternative markets, and that is a step towards it. Fine. ठीक है. Fine. So this is basically your news related to BRICS. BRICS, if I talk about BRICS grouping, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the initial members. There were 4 members. Then South Africa joined. Then Egypt, UAE, Iran, Ethiopia. They joined last year, and now Indonesia is the newest member. So which are the current members in this BRICS? 10 members. Always remember this. ठीक है. New Development Bank. I hope you know what New Development Bank is. This is an alternative to the World Bank, right? It is a financial institution which provides loans and all. The idea of forming this bank was discussed in 2012 in the BRICS summit in New Delhi, right? And there was this Fortaleza Declaration which was signed in 2014. There was this Fortaleza Declaration was signed, through which this New Development Bank was officially finally made, and it began its operations from 2015. Where is the headquarter of NDB? You need to know where is the headquarter. It is in Shanghai, in China, and there are regional offices in South Africa and Brazil. So remember, where is the headquarter of NDB? Shanghai in China. So majorly, what does this New Development Bank do? It provides funds for infrastructure and sustainable development projects to these BRICS countries. ठीक है. Fine. And the membership is open to all the United Nations member countries. So it's not like BRICS members only have this membership and all. Anybody can be a part of this NDB. ठीक है. And it focuses on many priority areas. What are the priority areas? Clean and renewable energy, energy efficiency, transport networks, water supply and sanitation, environmental protection, social infrastructure, digital and technological infrastructure. है ना? Fine. And the initial shareholding was $100 billion, and out of this $50 billion have been equally shared between the 5 members: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and baki ka other members hold. So maximum is with the 5 members, original members. Okay, so I wanted to discuss with you what BRICS is, members and all, and what New Development Bank is. This is the news. Your homework is you're going to read about BRICS in detail. We discussed this in your classes also, right? If you are going to study from me, all my students who are attending the class here, we'll be doing it in detail. No worries. Fine. Chalo. Next is that targeting public debt is appropriate during uncertainty. Anant Nageshwaram ji, who is the chief economic advisor, he said that public debt targeting is very important. Now, dekho what happened was, when we brought in, let's go back to history, when we brought in the 1991 reforms, like these LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization, for that huge amount of money was required, huge amount of money was spent, okay, by the government expenditure increased a lot, okay, government expenditure increased a lot, and it was more than the revenue. So it increased the fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? Total expenditure minus total revenue, excluding borrowings. Why we exclude borrowings? Because we need to know the proper gap. When we know the proper gap, we will be able to fund this gap from borrowing only. So fiscal deficit is equal to borrowings. Just a second. Okay, fiscal deficit is equal to borrowings. Now what happens is that if this fiscal deficit keeps on increasing, if this fiscal deficit keeps on increasing, that means our borrowings will keep on increasing, that means our debt will keep on increasing, and we will fall into a debt trap. है ना? We are going to fall into a debt trap, which is a very problematic thing for any country. So in 2003, we passed an FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act of 2003. कि government has to, do the expenditure responsibly. Expenditure should be done in a responsible manner. So what did we start doing? We started making certain targets. We started targeting fiscal deficit, revenue deficit and all. है ना कि fiscal deficit we have to reduce to 3% by this year. Revenue deficit we have to reduce to 0.25% by this year. ऐसे ऐसे करके we made certain targets. And from 2003 till 2020, 2016 you can say, है ना, till 2019 you can say, है ना, we saw कि यार we are not able to fulfill this target only. Whenever we are, when we start controlling our fiscal deficit, some or the other problem happens. For example, in 2008, global financial crisis happened. है ना? Then later on, demonetization, GST, COVID-19, because of which we were not able to meet our targets only. So over a period of time, what did we see कि यार we cannot make such strict decisions कि fiscal deficit should be reduced to 3%. This is very extreme. तो इतना ज़्यादा don't go very extreme. Our motive should be to reduce fiscal deficit gradually, and we should target our debt. जो public debt है, we should target that. We should try and reduce this target. ठीक है, don't make very stringent measures on fiscal deficit. We are going to gradually reduce this, no doubt, but don't make very strict because this is very unrealistic. ठीक है, so that is what we Anant Nageswaran ji he is saying कि भाई targeting public debt is very appropriate, very important, especially during uncertainty. ठीक है, so let's try and understand. I hope you've got this historical portion or the details of it. I hope you've understood this. ठीक है. Now, India has shifted its focus from targeting annual fiscal deficit to managing long-term public debt. Annual fiscal deficit we have to reduce to by 3%. This wala we've moved away from this. We've moved towards that we have to manage this long-term public debt. Okay? And Chief Economic Advisor is saying that this is very suitable, especially during economic uncertainty and especially during these global developments. Now, what is the reason for this shift? Why did we stop with these strict yearly deficit targets? So that there should be flexibility, because there are so many times there are uncertain economic conditions, and because of these uncertain economic conditions we are not able to fulfill our targets only, which shows failure of our institutions. So this rigid deficit जो target था, that was like a straight jacket, है ना. इसका मतलब there was no escape kind of clause कि यार uncertainty है तो हम कुछ मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा ही stringent, and it was extreme. So public debt target was announced this year in 2025-26 union budget में. They decided कि यार let's start targeting this public debt. We are going to reduce this public debt to 50%, center's debt to 50% of GDP. Obviously it can be plus minus 1%, it can be 49%, 51%, थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे. But by the year 2031, we have to reduce this to 50% of GDP. Remember this particular data. This can be very important when you write your answers. This can be very important from your MCQ point of view also. Directly it can be. So what is the target of the government? 50% of GDP plus minus 1% by 31st March 2031. ठीक है. So previous framework, this FRBM Act, 3% of GDP was the target, है ना. We were not able to meet up this fiscal deficit target because COVID-19 में we breached the target and all, and somehow the other way there is uncertainty keeps on happening and we move away from it. Fiscal deficit target increased to 9.2% during this COVID-19. ठीक है. Okay, Kanksha, I will keep the annotation, don't worry. ठीक है. Then current, if I talk about the current fiscal position, India's fiscal deficit right now, remember this data also, है ना, very important. India's fiscal deficit has been reduced to 4.8% in 24-25. Budget estimate was ki 4.9%, so we have successfully reduced it to 4.8%. And our target for this year 24-25-26, what is the target? It is 4.4% fiscal deficit. ठीक है, fine, remember these things. Fiscal deficit for April to October stood at 8.25 trillion rupees. See, in your exam, when you have MCQs now, so such kind of data can be written in the statement wise. Right? So 8.25 trillion rupees. And last year it was 7.51 trillion rupees. Okay? And basically, our long term fiscal path is that by the year 2031, we have to reduce our fiscal deficit to 50% of GDP. Currently, it is center's debt is, sorry, this not fiscal deficit, the debt. Currently, debt is 57.1% of GDP. Remember this data also. Important. Okay? So currently, excuse me. Currently, data is 57 debt. This debt to GDP ratio of center debt is 57.1% of GDP. We have to reduce this to 50% of GDP by the year 2031. Okay, this is your news. These were the detailed articles that I wanted to discuss with you. Apart from that, we have few fact-based news also. For example, India plans global EV summit in March. So India is planning, this summit, this electric vehicle summit in March in 2026. ठीक है, 2026. ठीक है, fine. So this is our updated EV mobility strategy. India is revising its electric mobility strategy. We want, after these see, what is happening is that electric vehicles or use of these electric vehicles require a lot of rare earth magnets, critical minerals and all, है ना. What is happening at the global level? There's a lot of supply chain issues because China said, I'm not going to I'm going to put a ban on the export and all. So we have faced a lot of supply chain issues. We have faced a lot of rare earth magnet crunch which was required for EV manufacturing and all, because we were very very dependent on imports. So our strategy has been changed from these imports, that we are going to focus on substitution of these imports, or we are going to focus on domestic manufacturing now. We are going to focus on domestic manufacturing, or we are going to replace, we are going to use some other alternatives in the EV battery and all, है ना. So India's strategy is changing. Its EV mobility strategy is changing, and now it is considering that we are going to have a global EV summit. India will host a global EV summit wherein there will be leading global EV manufacturers will come, government officials will come, domestic and international experts, think tanks. They are going to come. Fine. This consultations are started by Ministry of Heavy Industries. There was this Move Summit which was held in 2018 related to these electric vehicles and all. And now, as a sequel to it, we'll have EV Summit in 2026. And this summit is going to focus on what? It is going to focus on how to boost EV adoption, especially e-trucks, e-buses, how to manage supply chain, how to reduce dependence on rare earth magnets, advancing EV charging technologies. ठीक है, fine. So government's approach has changed. How has the government's approach changed? It has shifted from setting targets to offering incentives. So pehle government used to set target ki this is our target, we have to meet this target by the end of the year. But now the government has changed its strategy. It is saying ki you just do some incremental sales, you do some improvements, and then we are going to provide you incentives. ठीक है? Fine, we have PM E-Drive scheme also, which has been extended till financial year 28. Your homework is you're going to read about the PM E-Drive scheme. This is your homework. Read about the scheme in detail. So many times I've taken up YouTube sessions also, so you can maybe check that out also. Okay, fine. There was this Tesla scheme in March 24. India introduced this scheme to promote manufacturing of electric passenger cars. There was this scheme, very famously, it was known as the Tesla scheme for promoting manufacturing of electric passenger vehicles. So यहाँ पे they offered import duty cuts, है ना, investment was provided of $500 million. But this scheme failed to attract major EV manufacturers. So now through this summit, we are trying to address this issue. We're going to try and integrate at the global level. Okay, fine. Then again we have PM e-drives related. We have another news over here. The center clears 2.9k buses in PM e-drive. This scheme is very important, yaar. Please do this scheme, PM e-drive scheme, and इसके साथ we have this PM e-bus seva scheme also. ठीक है? Please do these two schemes. I will share on my Telegram handle. I will share the link of the video that I have taken up explaining these two schemes. ठीक है? If you are new here, anybody, you can follow my Telegram handle Mannat Educator. ठीक है? You can join that. Fine. So 2,900 new electric buses in phase 2 of this PM e-drive scheme have been allocated. Fine. And if I talk about city-wise allocation, 1,500 to Mumbai, 1,000 to Pune, 200 e-buses to Hyderabad, 200 e-buses to Ahmedabad. Okay, the focus is that we want to focus on zero emission public transport, है ना? We want to accelerate transition. That is why these buses and all के लिए we are providing funding and all. Right? Then GDP data quality debate ill-informed. So Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister, is saying that this GDP data quality debate is ill-informed. Now what does this mean? Now there is this debate going on in the country. Okay? IMF has provided C rating. IMF has provided C rating for our GDP calculation. Why? Because our base year is quite old. 2011-12 ka base year we are using. So IMF has provided a C rating to our GDP calculation. Okay? So Nirmala Sitharaman is saying, so people are debating कि यार IMF has given C rating, that means our quality of GDP data is not at all good. But Sitharaman is saying कि भाई this is an ill-informed debate. IMF has given a C rating. Why has IMF given a C rating? What this Sitharaman is saying why IMF has given a C rating? Because India is using the old 2011-12 base year. Once we revise this to 22-23, I hope you guys are aware that by next year, maybe April 2026, our GDP base year will be revised to 22-23. Once we revise this new GDP base year, IMF will not have this problem. IMF will not provide the C rating. Plus, Sitharaman is saying that if you see IMF's, any report wherein it is highlighting Indian economy, so IMF has highlighted that India's macroeconomic stability is very good. India is very, very resilient. IMF has projected 6.6% economic growth. IMF did not question India's figures at all. There is no misleading data. So, the debate जो आप कर रहे हैं, the debate that you are doing by saying कि IMF has provided C rating, that means India का GDP calculation और India के जो data है that is misleading, that is wrong, that is ill-informed. IMF has given C rating only because our base year is very, very old. Once we update this base year to 2023, everything is going to be fine. ठीक है? Because IMF nowhere has IMF disregarded India. It has in fact said that India is resilient. ठीक है? In fact, in Q2 we saw 8.2% GDP growth. है ना? Annual country report which was released on 26 November of IMF, है ना? Economic outlook of IMF says that our domestic conditions are favorable. है ना? Despite US tariffs, we are still resilient. That is what IMF has said. So that is why Nirmala Sitharaman said, don't bring in false narratives. Ye Supriya Sule, she's an MP in your Lok Sabha. तो वहाँ पे she raised कि IMF has given C rating. This is the situation of our country. So Nirmala Sitharaman said कि भाई no, this is not the situation of our country. Everything is fine. IMF in fact is applauding India only. It's just that 2011-12 is the base year. That is why थोड़ा सा C rating आया. Otherwise once we update it, everything is going to be okay. Then there is this news that rupee crosses 90 per dollar, crosses at all-time low of 90.15. That means there is this concept known as depreciation of our currency. Our Indian rupee is depreciating against the dollar. Rupee is depreciating. So through this screenshot, what I'm trying to explain you is depreciation of currency. ठीक है. यहाँ पे obviously these details are not very important, what that it crossed $90 mark or not and all that, ठीक है. The major thing that I wanted to explain you is the meaning of depreciation. What does depreciation mean? For example, $1 is equal to 80 rupees right now. If $1 becomes 90 rupees, like we are saying, it has crossed $90 mark. This shows that the value of Indian rupee is declining. What does it mean? That pehle, with $1, these people were able to buy, these Americans, they were able to buy 80 rupees worth of goods. But now with the same amount of money, they are able to buy more goods. With the same amount of money, with $1, they are able to buy 90 worth of goods. That means the value of Indian rupee is declining, which is a negative thing. Thoda bahut depreciation is good. Little bit of depreciation is good. Why? Because if these Americans will be able to buy more goods at the same price from us, that means the demand for Indian goods will increase. If demand for Indian goods will increase, that means our exports will increase. If our exports will increase, we know that AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. If our exports increase, our aggregate demand will increase, overall economic growth will increase. But if you see, if depreciation keeps on happening for a long period of time, value of our currency keeps on declining. That means our rupees value is deteriorating, and that is at the international level, this is not a good thing. Okay? Fine. So this I wanted to explain you the concept of depreciation. अच्छा, इसका opposite concept is appreciation of currency. When the opposite happens, $1 is equal to 80 rupees, $1 has reduced to 70 rupees. That means now the value of our currency is improving. In this case, our imports will increase. ठीक है? Appreciation, depreciation word we use when we are following the flexible exchange rate system, when we are leaving everything to the market forces of demand and supply. There is another word called revaluation and devaluation. So devaluation is like depreciation, revaluation is like appreciation. It's just that the government is deliberately doing it, so then we say revaluation and devaluation. So these concepts I wanted to discuss with you. If you are studying from me, then we will discuss this in detail. You don't need to worry about it. Okay? Then we are going to do a few MCQs, and MCQs में ही there are 3-4 small articles, small very important news which you are going to do through MCQs. ठीक है? I'm going to give you a surprise question. I will see that whether you guys have read the newspaper or not, or whether you are following news in any manner or not, and then we'll do some MCQs. ठीक है? चलो, first question, we have a surprise question for you. I have a surprise question for you here. As of 31st October, what is India's total installed power generation capacity? Power generation capacity, you have to tell me. Very important, these kind of data, these are very, very small articles, or, shorts which are present in the newspaper on the site, chota sa, but these are very important. You can give me a guess also if you want. So, what is the installed power generation capacity as of October 2025? 4.2 lakh megawatt, 5.5 lakh megawatt, 6.1 lakh megawatt, 3.8 lakh megawatt, or 2.5 lakh megawatt? Anybody? हाँ, purchasing power decreases. Yes, Akanksha, you're absolutely right. नहीं, अच्छा, उमेश है ये, है ना? सॉरी उमेश. चलिए. Souvik has given me B as the answer. The correct answer is B, 5.5 lakh megawatt. Very, very good. All of you have given me absolutely correct answers. So this was the news over here. Installed power generation capacity crosses 5.5 lakh megawatt as of 31st October. Yeah, so very good. This was a small article. हाँ, Akanksha only है ना? Right. I thought. Chalo, anyway. Chalo. India's iron ore imports. This is also again a surprise question. India's iron ore imports in Jan to October 2025 crossed which volume, marking a 6-year high? 4 million tons, 6 million tons, 8 million tons, 10 million tons, or 12 million tons? Iron ore imports. This is also very small chotu sa article on the site. These are very small, and you don't really take a look at that, but directly questions can be asked from here. Okay? Iron ore imports in Jan to October 25 crossed which volume, marking a 6-year high? You can give me guesses. Guess also, anybody? Any guesses? Everyone is saying B. Guess. Acha. Anybody else? The correct answer is D, 10 million tons. So यहाँ पे this was the article here that India's Jan to October iron ore imports crossed a 6-year uh, 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 6-year high. ठीक है, 10 million tons in the first 10 months of 2025. ठीक है, 10 million tons. Right. ठीक है, चलिए. Again, I have a surprise question. अच्छा नहीं, surprise नहीं है ये तो we've done है ना. According to IMF's projection mentioned by Finance Minister, what is India's expected real GDP growth for financial year 25-26? 5.8%, 6.2%, 6.6, 7%, 7.5%. Quickly, according to IMF's projection. Third question, C. Karan, Kevlin, Souvik have given me the answer. What about others? 6.6 is absolutely correct. ठीक है? चलिए, fourth question. As per government's announcement, again this is a surprise question. ठीक है? The census 2027 will be conducted in how many phases and during which period? This is also a very small kind of an article here, है ना? One phase January to June 2027, two phases April to September 2026 and February 2027, two phases Jan to March 2026, December 2027, three phases April to September, November and February 27, one phase entire year of 2027. Fourth question. The census 2027 will be conducted in how many phases? Fourth question, B. What about others? I want everybody giving me the answer. B is absolutely correct. This will be done in two phases, April to September 2026 and February 2027. This was the uh, major headline. ठीक है, April 2026, February 2027. ठीक है. Next question. According to government, from which date are the four labor codes likely to become fully operational in India? Again, this was a very small article on the side, है ना, related to labor codes. When will they become fully operational? This is also a surprise question again. 1st January 25, 1st July 2025, 1st April 2026, 1st August 2026 or 1st January 2027. Fifth question, Kevlin is saying C. Anybody else? Anybody else? Ovik, Karan, Rachna, Akanksha. The correct answer is C. 1st April 2026. From 1st April 2026. ठीक है? This was there in your news. Question number 6. Under phase 2 of PME Drive, how many e-buses have been allocated to Mumbai? Mumbai specifically. 1000, 1200, 1500, 2000, 2500. We saw na state wise allocations, Hyderabad, Mumbai and all. So, sixth question. How many have been allotted to Mumbai? A, B. The correct answer is C, 1500. ना A है ना B है, 1500 है. ठीक है? 1500 were allotted to Mumbai. Anyway. What is one of the key conditions under India's 2024 Tesla scheme for foreign EV makers to receive import duty cuts? So we saw about one thing about your Tesla scheme, है ना, which was launched. तो उस Tesla scheme में what did these foreign EV makers receive? Set up a plant in India with at least, if they wanted import duty cuts, what did they have to do? They had to set up a plant in India with at least $100 million investment. Import fully built EVs without localization requirements. Sell only electric two-wheelers in the Indian market. Set up a plant in India with at least $500 million investment and achieve significant localization. Collaborate with Niti Aayog on EV research. Seventh question. Again, easy question. We've done this. Absolutely correct. Set up a plant in India with at least $500 million investment and achieve significant localization. है ना? Eighth question. What is government's new long-term target for central government's debt as announced in budget 25-26? 60% of GDP by 2031, 55% of GDP by 2030, 50% of GDP plus minus 1% by 31st March 2031, 45% of GDP by 2032, 52% of GDP by 2031. Eighth question. Eighth question C, which is absolutely correct. 50% of GDP plus minus 1% by March 30, 2031. Right? Ninth question. What is the major reason public sector banks are unable to raise deposit rates effective? Acha, ye wala to, this is purana. Okay, okay, leave it. Which of the following correctly describes India's services PMI performance? India's services PMI performance in November 2025. It fell to 55.1 due to rising inflation and weak demand. Remained unchanged at 58.9, reflecting stagnant domestic activity. The C option is also same. Chalo. It increased to 59.8, supported by higher new business inflows and easing input cost inflation. Moved below 50, indicating contraction for the first time in 4 years. This is your ninth question. है ना? Absolutely correct. Increased to 59.8, supported by higher new business inflows, easing input cost inflation. ठीक है? Indonesia recently announced $1 billion contribution to which international institution to support sustainable development projects and deepen engagement after joining BRICS? Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, World Bank, IDA, Asian Development Fund, Islamic Development Fund, or New Development Bank? Very easy question again. Yes, New Development Bank. Right? Acha, which of the following statements best describes the recent controversy surrounding Sanchar Sathi app? App was discontinued after cyber fraud cases reduced across India. Smartphone brands were required to pre-install the app, leading to privacy concerns and government clarification that users may delete it. App was found to be collecting bank account data of users without permission. Ministry of Finance made the app mandatory for all digital payments above 10,000. App was launched in November 2025 and immediately made optional for all smartphone users. Yes, absolutely correct. Smartphone brands were required to pre-install the app, leading to privacy concerns. Right? So that is all from my side, everyone. Thank you so much. If you want, you can connect with me on Telegram. Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. Please remind me if I forget to send you PM E-Bus Seva and PM E-Drive scheme related the video of YouTube. Any one of you, please remind me. Okay? Thank you so much. That is all from my side. If there's anything that you want to ask me, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, we'll end the session here. And I really hope that this session was helpful. I wish you all the best. Keep studying, है ना? Keep preparing for the examination and read the newspaper on your own as well if you can. ठीक है? All right. Thank you, Kevlin, Rachna, Sovik, Karan. Thank you to all of you and keep studying. And you too have a great day ahead. ठीक है? I will see you in my next one. Bye bye. चलिए